Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Three Warlocks Podcast. I am your host, Vega, and today we have another episode, and it's episode 24 of our long-standing show, the Three Warlocks Podcast. So we want to welcome you guys in, and I want to introduce my other co-host with me. That is Snail and Ness. How are you guys doing today?
Hello.
Hello.
Good, thank you.
Good.
How are you doing?
We have some fancy new backgrounds. If you guys can see them, look at this. Woo!
That's me.
Yeah. We want to thank our artist who did this, commissioned this for us. That is Ness. Thank you so much for doing these little backgrounds. The people who are going to watch the YouTube video are going to get this treat of seeing the background. Pretty nice. It's a Three Warlocks Podcast official background. Boom. So that's really cool. Well, we have a pretty good show this week, guys. The TWAB wasn't as large. A lot of information. I keep saying that every week. Wasn't as large, but a lot of information. Wasn't as large, but a lot of information. But this is actually some good news in here that we can discuss, and we're going to be doing that on this episode. But before we do that, did you guys have anything exciting happen this week to you guys? Last time we talked about Saturday, I believe. Hey, that's right. Happy birthday to Wooden Snail 2268. Let's give it up to my man, Wooden Snail.
Happy birthday. 35, right? 35 again?
35 again? I don't want to be 35 again.
He doesn't want to be 35 again. I don't want to be 35 again.
No.
Really? No.
If I'm going to be any age again, then mid-20s probably.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah. I was still trying to figure myself out. Mid-30s was good.
Okay.
Well, your birthday was on the 30th, correct?
31st.
31st.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know one of our friends of the show has a birthday today. We're actually celebrating we're doing our episode back on our normal time, which is Friday evening. So those folks who like to take those Saturday walks, can listen to the episode. Talking about you, Rob. Anyway, So we were just talking about this. Duke is cool. Today is his birthday. We want to send a shout out to Duke, and also shout out to Snail, whose birthday is today. That's very interesting. People who have birthdays on like early in the year, because I was thinking, God, if your birthday was yesterday, was April Fool's Day, that must be the hardest thing ever.
Like, you were adopted. What?
Well, funny I said that because I have
I would use that one.
No, funny you said that, and I have a story to tell you guys. I usually play a prank on my family, especially my wife and my kids. My kids are old enough. I decided to do a prank on my entire family. We have this text group that we all talk on, and we send each other messages, videos, and stuff. So what I decided to text early in the morning was like, hey, just want to let everybody else know before the news get out there. My wife and I are separated at the moment. We appreciate if you guys can respect our privacy.
You're so evil.
Bro, my family doesn't fall for that stuff. And what's interesting is it's my family and also my wife's family who share that text. So my wife's family panics and starts making phone calls. My wife's asleep. I mean, please. I went to work like at 6 a.m, and I'm like sending these messages out. She's waking up and she's like, what the hell is going on? My brother is the first one to text from my side of the family. And he was like, oh, I knew that was going to happen, bro. It's long overdue. I figured you guys were going to be breaking up like 10 years ago. So see, those people know that I was kidding, and my wife's side of the family, they didn't really take kind to that. The only person that took it kind of seriously was my mom. She kind of had to pull over and try to call me multiple times, but I couldn't pick up the phone because I was driving. And whenever I made a turn, the phone kind of flipped out of the top of my truck and just fell on the side. I hate when that happens. So I could hear it going, and I'm like, dude, whoever's calling me is pretty pissed off because they can't get a hold of me. And I totally forgot that I sent that text out. And I'm thinking to myself, whatever. If it's important, I'll leave a message. Sure enough, my mom was so upset, and she told me, don't ever do that again. I thought it was serious, and we'll see you on Sunday for Easter.
Oh my God. That's horrible. Well done.
Which we will discuss more about it. So that's funny. So that was my prank for April Fool's Day. I don't know if you guys had anything exciting this week.
I actually did one last year. I told Snail about it actually on his birthday because it was so close to April Fool's Day. And I realized that I needed to stop because I used to love doing it. So that one year I told my boss that, you know, it was really nice working for her and stuff like that, but I was resigning. And I saw her face break down and she started tearing up. And I had to promptly like stop and go, I'm just kidding, April Fools. And then I just like ran out of the office. But yeah, she's never forgiven me for that. So I couldn't do it anymore. Yeah.
We like to make people cry. How about you, Snail? Anything like that?
We're
No.
evil.
No.
No?
No.
Oh.
No, sorry.
We'll
I
teach
didn't
you.
do anything. I have to April Fools myself. I was like, April Fools.
Is that even I guess we were just talking before the show started, we were talking about holidays. Is that even an important or a well-used holiday over there in England or in the UK?
It's not really a holiday, is it?
Well,
No,
I guess,
not really.
would you
It's
consider?
not.
Yeah, I
People
guess you
do
can-
pranks, I suppose, but
Okay.
yeah, when they were kids.
Yeah, now we're all grown up, we're adults. We don't do that, right?
We don't do
No,
that.
we don't do that at all. Bad things happen when you joke.
I know.
Make
Well-
people cry.
Well, this TWAB came out on April 1st. And I hope from the news that we received from it, I really hope they weren't kidding because some of this stuff is pretty cool. And
Mhm.
that's something we're going to be discussing. So the TWAB begins, like it normally does, with an introduction. And it says, Guardians are further proving their worth as Proving Grounds has become the feature Nightfall Strike. We've also added it to the Vanguard Strike playlist, so all players will now have a chance to tackle the giant tank on Nessus. So if you haven't had a chance to log in this week, it's a great time to load up the game if you've been playing it. You're probably waiting for me to tell you something that you don't really know, but let's get to it. We played the mission, the strike, and it's pretty cool. I like it. We discussed a little bit about it last week. It's a horrible Nightfall, by the way. I'm sure Snail's going to be bringing his thoughts on that. I was lucky enough to have Snail Sherpa me through the Nightfall 13:30 yesterday when I did my stream night on Thursdays, and I was so unprepared. I was actually more of a nuisance than I was a help. I realized that.
Yeah, we did well in the middle
well.
of my Furiosa.
My well was
So no orbs this morning.
nothing. I was even afraid to use it. I would use it like 30 feet away from you guys, but somehow you guys would gravitate towards it and be like, oh, no orbs. I'm like, damn it. I'm not helping at all here. It was a horrible experience, but thank you so much. We got it done. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough Nightfall. And I can only imagine for those people who are trying the Grandmaster Nightfall, that's a toughie, man. Any thoughts, Snail or Ness, on that?
There was that moment where we were, you and Ginger are both dead. I had my super, so I was in my banner shield running around trying to stay alive. I had two unstoppables chasing me,
like,
the boss's fireballs chasing me, and I've got these two in my ears going, run, run away! I'm just running around in a circle.
Stay alive, diamond hands.
And then there was a whole point where Ginger went down, so I'm there trying to pick him up, put the shield back up. The boss bumps me away, so I come back to him. Boss bumps me away again, and I've got Jesse in the background going, are you actually going to pick him up? I was like, I can't get close.
I'm trying. He's like, I'm trying. Oh, man. Have you had a chance to play in this?
I actually haven't. I'm hoping that Snail would, put me in his backpack tonight because I haven't tried.
Well, whatever you do, don't use well. Don't use
no,
for sure. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. Rob's noted point, I must mention, do not try and fire a super through our shields, because it doesn't work. So the numerous times he was going, there's no damage happening from my my arc Jesus beam. Yeah, it's because you're firing into us, not the enemies.
Oh my god. Only thing that goes through there is weapons, right? Weapon fire goes through the shield, but not super. So, and then also wells are useless. As a warlock, I've never felt more useless in my life. I was not helping at all. At one point I realized, I'm like, oh, I can throw grenades and heal you guys. And then I thought of it for like a second, and then I was like, I can't even do that. I need to hurt people.
Not capable.
Because these things are hard. Oh man, that was a tough Grandmaster. But
when you get into rhythm though, those shields don't have help, do they?
No,
it's like banner shield.
They do
banner
good.
Shield. Banner shield.
I think your only problem is the lack of ammo on certain situations where we're kind of getting stuck on. So you have to be really precise, focus on one enemy, and then just take it down one by one. If you start kind of shooting throughout the whole area, it can be pretty tough because you'll start running out of ammo pretty quick. So words of advice there, Ness. Better, so some luck for you tonight.
Noted.
The 12 brings out some changes that are going to be happening on the next season, and these things are exciting. Season 14, and with that, we'll have Ness kind of bring out some of the things that's going to happen season 14.
All right. So if you've been playing Destiny for some time, you're going to remember that during Black Armory DLC, there was an EXO, a very disgruntled EXO, Ada-1. She will be returning for season 14. And I'm actually excited about this. She's going to be bringing the new armor transmog, which they're calling it the armor synthesis. So if you have any sort of gear, even blue gear, that you actually like the way it looked, those can be used as ornaments now. So you can actually make your gear look like that. So I'm excited about that. She's also going to have randomly chosen armor mods. And a randomly chosen combat style armor mod to include. She's also going to be selling a random set of armor. So, and it's going to be out of the world loot. So with that being said, that's going to change Banshee. Banshee, of course, used to do the armor mods. He's not going to do that anymore. So he's actually going to have all of the bounties that he normally has. He's also going to have the upgrade materials, which Ada-1 is also going to have. She's going to have the upgrade modules, the enhancement prisms, and the ascendant shards. So he's also going to have that, but he's also going to have 6 weapons available that he's going to be selling. So it's going to be awesome. 2 of each. Yeah, 2 kinetic, 2 energy, and 2 power. So every week it'll be a random stat roll. So you can, every reset, you can go to see him and see if one of the weapons that you wanted, it has a perk that you've been looking for. So that's pretty exciting. I can't wait for that.
There's a really important question, though.
What is it?
What's that?
There's a pause now, isn't there? Will Ada be fixed? Will her ankles actually not be through the floor as it had been for the past 2 years? She was sat in the tower.
You would bring up the past.
What about her colors now? You think they're going to fix the colors because the color rank community might get offended because their colors are not perfect too?
What? I thought her colors were really pretty. Once you finish the quest, she kind of turned that purpley blue kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's why she sunk through the floors, too heavy with color.
Oh.
But you know what? That news that you brought us, Ness, is exciting. I think this is the first time I believe Ada is a character that Bungie did wrong in a sense that her story is cool. It's tragic. What happened to her. And it seemed like we just brushed it off. I think our first encounter with her, it was like she has all these hate for Guardians. Like, man,
I know.
Who are you? What are you doing here? And all we have to do is show her a little key. And she's like, okay, you're cool.
Like, oh, hey, you're cool. I like you.
So they butchered her story. I really hope that they may do some sort of a continuation of the story, having her as a vendor in the next season, which would be kind of cool. It does raise some questions, like Snail says. This is the first time we're going to get a vendor refresh from Banshee. So the question rises on that, is this going to shift the metas possibility like it did in D1? You kind of went in there and kind of tried new weapons. So our meta is going to be changing in the Crucible, maybe on PvE. You're going to get different kinetic weapons with different roles that you haven't seen before, different energy, different heavy. So that's exciting. The other question that I had was the currency. What kind of parts or currency are we going to use to buy these weapons? I think as we stand right now, we have to use 100 armor pieces or armor parts to buy a weapon from Banshee to begin with.
Weapon parts, yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to be 100 plus, some legendary shards. So we don't know what the currency is going to be to get these weapons and if they're going to be easily available for people. It's really cool. Also, one of the things you brought up, Ness, that she's going to be carrying or having variety armor focused items. So I'm kind of thinking about the crack oven that we have right now on the helm. You think that's something that's going to be moved, or are we going to have that empty spots in the tower to go and visit every time the helm, which seems like a waste of space? I know we were talking about waste of space in previous episodes, like the farm used to be a giant waste of space because it was never utilized correctly. But now is that what's it called, the Prickmaster? Prickmaster?
Yeah, the garbage
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. Is that going to be moved where Ada's at, where you can focus more engram? Are we going to be continue to be focusing engrams? There's a lot of questions that's going to happen. Is she going to be back in the same spot, like Snail
Mhm.
says, where we found her in the tower down there next to the
Yeah,
drifter?
yeah.
So that's a lot of questions. But the fact that she's coming back is very, very interesting. The fact that she's going to be selling different armor pieces, like pretty much taking over for Banshee. It's really, really cool. And then the fact that Banshee is getting a different role is really, really interesting. So season 14, they're giving us little pieces, little tastes. It's pretty good. I like it. I like that. I like that change. Any thoughts now?
It's a very D1 vibe. It
Yeah.
feels like what was perfected in D1, especially with the Banshee piece. We could always buy weapons in D1, and you could buy random things and do random bounties to get a better weapon, couldn't you? So I wonder if we go down that route, it would certainly make it a better place to go. Currently, what's the point of Banshee?
Yeah.
Apart from buying some armor, leveling up materials, saying hello to him now and again.
Upgrade cores, stuff like that. That's what I use them mostly for.
But I'm sat on like 20k weapon parts.
Yeah.
Same.
It has to be something we can use that on, especially as a form to buy other weapons or even have them have different mods. Maybe to the point that in the future we may be able to buy mods or different mods for weapons. I don't know. The ideas are there, but like you said, Snail, we do have so much weapon parts that we don't even know what to do with them. So one of the things that I do wish they would bring back is some of those Ada weapons, man. Those season of the weapons.
Yeah, Black Army weapons.
No, I hate the fact that things are sunset and they don't bring back old stuff. I just felt that we didn't get a chance to really enjoy those weapons. Really nice weapons. I think they were well designed. But that's pretty much it.
The hammer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ringing nail.
Yeah.
I think the sniper rifle was in Tatara's Gaze, I believe it's called, right?
Yeah, it's a nice sniper, that one.
That was an arc one. It was really nice. I used to like that one. Let's get into a couple of perks that people have been having concerns on. And these perks are Celerity and Bottomless Grief. Now, if you guys don't know much about these perks, Celerity is fine in a lot of the Trials weapons. Celerity, what it does is if you're the last remaining Guardian alive, it helps you out. So from you being the last remaining Guardian alive, it ups all your stats. So your target acquisition goes up, your reload speed, your handling, the incoming damage from the enemy to you get less flinch. So it's a really important perk on that. When it comes to the bottomless grief, that's a perk that you find on adept weapons on the Nightfalls. You know, some of the weapons that have those you can roll with, I believe, are the 3 that we have now, which is the Swarm, Paladrone, and then also the Shadow Price.
Yep.
So, and what that one gives you is it refills your magazine after each takedown. I believe that's the perk that it does. I haven't really examined or talked about any of those or had my chance to play with any of those perks. And those perks are pretty good. There are going to be some changes coming up in season 14 on that. And Chris Proctor, who's in charge of kind of like the trials and also the adept weapons, I guess, for both trials and Nightfalls, he was saying that some of these perks, especially the Celerity, was not really being used, or I mean, it's being used the way it was supposed to be used, but it wasn't something that you were getting excited about because it almost punishes you for having it, because you're pretty much betting against yourself. If you, it only helps you out if you're the last remaining Guardian on trials, and it's totally worthless outside of trials, you know, which is kind of nice because it keeps you on that specific game mode. But now they're saying that they're going to be changing everything on season 14. So starting in season 14, the new weapons you get are going to have the same perks, the adept weapons for trials and also the Nightfalls, Celerity, and also the Bottomless Grief. But they're going to be a little bit different, where you can choose to have it activated when you're doing the trials, when you're doing the Nightfalls, or you can choose not to have it activated. So you can kind of switch between perks, something like that. It reminds me of the perfect example right now. It's one of the first weapons we got that has that specific, I guess, that specific change on the mods or the perks, it will be the Felwinter's Lie. Felwinter's Lie, if you think about it, has a tier with a 2 on top and 2 on the bottom, so it's like a 4. So you can kind of move and choose what you want. You want to go with the Vorpal Weapon, you want to do Slide Shot, you want to do Quick Draw, you want to do so this, you can manipulate and move around according if you're going to go to PvP or PvE, which is kind of nice. So having these things done on these weapons, I think it's kind of cool, kind of interesting, especially it's going to keep those people who are chasing the adept weapons happy. I know, Snail, you have a couple of adept weapons so far. You've done
Whenever everybody pulls Bottomless Grief, they all moan and chuck it away, because when you think of it in PvE, if the whole team's down, you're not going to survive for much longer in a Grandmaster. We saw in a 1330, I was just running around trying to stay alive. I wasn't trying to shoot anything because I was never going to do enough damage. So the perk doesn't really work with what we're trying to do at the moment. I guess if it's got a buff on it, then it might be more useful, but I don't think I'd still run it because it means the rest of the team are down. I'm trying to keep you guys up.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the changes that are going to be doing that, especially in season 14, for the Nightfall weapons, if you have that Bottomless Grief perk, is going to grant a permanently active plus 30 in the magazine. Now, keep that in mind. That's only in the magazine. And it's not going to be on the weapon itself. You're not going to be having a palindrome with like 30 rounds on it. That's be a little bit too insane. But the magazine size is just going to increase, so you can be able to have more bullets on that. Bottomless Grief is now fixed alternate perk in the left column on adept weapons from Nightfalls. So you'll be able to kind of, switch back and forth if you want to have it activated or not. Same thing with Trials Weapon. Trials Weapon, the Celerity is going to grant a permanently inactive plus 20 to both reload and handling. And that's a pretty big pretty big buff on handling and also on reload, because if you get that roll on a 120 hand cannon, we're talking about the hammer. What's it called? Ingenious hammer, I believe. That's a deadly gun with plus 20 handling and plus 20 reload speed. That's going to be a pretty sought out adept weapon. You're definitely going to have to go out there and chase those weapons like that. One of the things that Celerity is going to have that same thing. That it's going to have that fixed right column alternate perk, so you can always switch from it if you want to go into trials, or you can now carry it into something else if you want. I think that's all the thing I got from all this. Any other thoughts or any other questions from this news that we're bringing out for both trials and Nightfalls?
I haven't got any of those things.
I had to do something because it was people were complaining that you do all that hard work and you get a rubbish roll. Yeah. So I had to do something about it.
I mean, I can tell you, I'm never going to get a trials adept weapon. Probably never. I can attempt to get an adept weapon on a Nightfall, but I need to be carried. I need to multiply Snail times 2 and have him carry me through another Grand Ambassador Nightfall, but not this week. This week is really scary, man. I don't know.
Well, we're getting closer. We got to the boss room now.
I know. But players always find a way to cheese things, to get little shortcuts and stuff. And but this one is pretty tough. This one for sure is pretty tough. We're talking about that.
Yeah. Well, there was a cheese briefly, but they fixed it.
No, if it's in the game, it's legit. You can use it.
That's true. I know. I call it a nerf or whatever, or like a cheese. But yeah, you're right. If it's in the game and you can take advantage of it, it's not considered.
It's meant to be used then.
Yeah, it's meant to be used. Do you guys remember a while back? I think we talked about the raid along that they did. Bungie had some of the developers and go in there and kind of play the raid. Now they're going to do something different. Snail, you want to explain what's going to happen now?
Yep. So next week they're firing up their stream machine again with the awkward guy presenting. He was very awkward last time doing the raid, but it was interesting watching them play the raid and then explain how they designed it. I especially enjoyed the boss that they were explaining, which was just a little paper puppet that was running around, which was very entertaining. So they're going to do the same thing again, a live version of the Presage exotic mission, and they'll be doing that on the Spooky Derrick ship on Wednesday, the 7th of April at 10 a.m. PDT. Don't know what it is in my world. That's probably about 5. Is it? Something like that. You can watch on Twitch, and it's also on YouTube. Thereafter, questions you might have about it. So last time we did the raid one, they asked for questions, which is why some of the bits they were going along, they were answering kind of the questions as the awkward presenter kind of tried to do in a non-awkward way. We'll see what happens with this presenter. But it got me thinking, so what type of questions would we ask? So the first one that came to my head was what came first, the story or the actual mission, and mission design? Because actually the story is really good, and the mission kind of fits it perfectly. But did they get given the brief of, here's the story, make something that is spooky? Yep. Or was it, let's make something spooky, let's make a story to fit it? Because it kind of works hand in hand, doesn't it? It's a really good mission with a really good story attached to it. I don't know if you guys have got any questions you'd ask about Presage.
I think my question would be is how were they able to make, or how long does it take them to develop a mission like that, in a sense of like puzzles? Do they think about the puzzles first, or do they think about the encounters in the mission? I know the mission doesn't have a lot of encounters to the point where you have to fight a lot of ads. A lot of the ads are more jump scares and they pop at you. But what is their thought process when designing puzzles? To me, that's very interesting, because I was stuck behind a puzzle forever if it wasn't for Snail whistling and tapping his foot up against a little hole, and he's like, hey, you have to shoot here, you have to shoot here. I would have just quit that freaking mission and never played again. That's my question.
Well, you had Rob sat in his chair next to most of the things.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my question. So I don't know if you guys have a different one.
Ness, you got
one? I know the booby traps. Like, well, I got two. The booby traps. What the hell?
Yeah, more of a comedy relief.
Yeah, but also, what's the fastest time? I haven't seen that. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I want to know how fast has a group completed it. What's the fastest time, basically? Because I know when we did it, I think the fastest time we had like maybe 3 minutes left, which I'm pretty sure for a team that they develop, it's super slow. So yeah, that'd be my question.
I think the timings would be null and void now anyway, because you could get a million people into it with the glitch. I reckon the timings are all to pot, aren't they? Because when people are running through that quickly, they can easily melt the encounters.
I'm pretty sure they have a legit one that they track that doesn't have 9 guardians in it.
Maybe. The fastest I've done it is 18 minutes.
And that's pretty fast.
That's 7 minutes off running out of time. So yeah, which then led me to another question, which is, what is the best dungeon we've had to date? So with Presage is the last one we've just had. Harbinger was one before. Then we've got Prophecy, Pit of Heresy, 0 Hour, Shatter Throne, and Whisper. And then I started to think, well, how many times have I completed these? Which ones have I played the most? And the reasons why I've played them. So Presage, I've already done 23 clears, and I've got a flawless and a day one clear. Harbinger, I've done 18 clears. I've got a solo, a flawless, and a day one. Prophecy, I've done 26 clears, but I've never done any of the flawless or solo runs. Pit of Heresy, I've got 79 clears. It's a bit of a difference. I've got a solo, flawless, and day one. 0 Hour did 7 clears, Shatter Throne 7 clears, and Whisper I did 11 clears, but none of them did I do any of the flawless or day one things. So when you look at the stats, does it suggest that Pit of Heresy is my favorite because I've done it 79 times? Me and Jess were speaking earlier that actually, is it the reward that's driving that? So I did 79 clears, but I was getting an exotic. I was getting a masterwork piece of armor each time. And turn it into Senon shards to then masterwork other things. So actually was the reward driving that. There wasn't really a massive story. Presage is really good for a story, but it feels like when we finish the season, the story's gone. Would I go back in if there was no pinnacle? Probably not. Harbinger is kind of boring to an extent. The feather thing lost me altogether. Prophecy is really good. I know there's a pinnacle at the end. The story is not really relevant to what we're doing at the moment, though.
Yeah.
So there's a story piece there. 0 Hour is a great mission. I know it's one of Jesse's favorites. We'll mention that in a second. Shattered Throne is beautiful. I love that dungeon. It's very long, which is why I don't tend to go into it very often. And Whisper has got the best music of all time. Just love that mission. It's brilliant. But what are your favorite dungeons?
Mine would be Shattered Throne.
Okay.
I liked it. I don't have tons of clears because, like you said, it is a long mission, and I feel like you really have to be dedicated to that. But I like it because it is a challenge. Even to this day, when with our high level, it is really still challenging to get into, even with the new supers. But I love the way it looks. But I've always loved all the missions and everything associated with the Dreaming Cities. I've always really enjoyed. Dreaming City, it's too bad it's gonna probably disappear, but I've always loved how it looks. There's that mystery to it, and there's that kind of fantasy magic going, space magic, that I've always enjoyed. Presage, I like right now. I say right now because I'm probably gonna have to do it like 26 million times, and then I won't like it more to get all the rewards and everything and the lore. But it's still mystery. It still has that mystery going for it. For the others, I mean, Pit of Heresy, I think you're right. I think we did it just because of the rewards. At one point, Destiny was kind of dead when Pit of Heresy came out. Like, they threw us the pit after the moon, and it was about the only thing that we actually enjoyed doing for a while. So it kind of helped in that dead time. Prophecy is cool. I do enjoy Prophecy. It kind of fell to the wayside because of the new stuff. Harbinger is boring as hell, and I hate it. Yeah, I can't deal with it. Whisper and 0 Hour, that's your guys' favorite. I can't jump, so I hated it.
Can't jump.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite
Jesse?
one. Yeah, my favorite one is 0 Hour. That's always been my favorite because you're being, I think as I explained to you, you're being timed. The enemies are constantly coming at you, and they're pretty tough. And then it has a match game on it, so whatever element you have to have the right one to take the right shield, or else you're going to be there forever. The puzzles were really cool. It was more of a, I guess, trial and error at first. You just turn on knobs, and then, like I said, there's a really, really fun jumping puzzle at the end, towards the end of the boss. And it kind of brings you some nostalgia because it brings you to the room where the Outbreak perfected, or the Outbreak Prime was kind of crafted. And there's one thing we have to take into account when it comes to every dungeon that we talk about. Some of those dungeons have very unique weapons attached to them. 0 Hour has the Whisper. 0 Hour has the Outbreak Perfected. Outbreak, and then the Whisper of the Worm has the Whisper mission, I guess. There's also a dungeon that you didn't mention on your list. Now, I don't know if you could call it a dungeon. Do you remember the mission to get the bad juju? Would that be considered a dungeon? That was really cool. You got a story behind it. So that's another one. So any kind of dungeon that's associated with a weapon, I fall in love with them. I like it. The only one is Harbinger, even though the Hawk Moon is associated with it. Like you said, it just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like a true dungeon. It almost feels like a mission to me, a very long and annoying mission. The one dungeon that is by far the dungeon of all dungeons that should be put up there. It's almost excuse me, like a mini raid, is the Shattered Throne, and that one, to me, that one has to be one of the ones in at least in the top three. So that pretty much would be my top three. My top three would be 0 Hour, Shattered Throne, and then Whisper of the Worm. Of those top three to me, and the bottom is it's going to be the Harbinger.
I agree.
I do remember doing Presage the other day with Jesse, and poor guy was at the back. I could see him running around in a big circle, not actually moving forward. And I was like, I'll pull you in a minute. And literally, I'd run halfway through the mission, killed half the enemies, then pulled him through. And he was like, oh, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, I've only done that mission a couple times. It's fun. I mean, when you do it, but it's just so much stuff in there to look at, and then the guy's talking to you, so you're paying attention. It's like it's a story going on while you're playing it, so you almost have to stop and you listen, and then you just move a little bit, and you're like, "What the hell? I was just here," and you get lost, and so yeah. And that's actually going back to your thought, Snail, about what questions would you will ask the team. I'm thinking the question that's really important is how long does that process take from putting it on paper that you're going to make a dungeon, from designing it, testing it, and launching it? How long does that process take from them thinking, let's make this dungeon, to us playing it? That'll be a cool question to ask, I think.
That'd be a pretty good question.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much my thoughts on all of the dungeons. The 12 continues, guys. We just put out another hot fix today, which we noticed it. I believe that was a 3.1.1.2, I believe. And our player support team has had the latest on what needs to be addressed and what known issues are being tracked. So with that, I believe Snail has a couple things he wants to bring out about Proving Grounds and Nightfall.
Yeah, so earlier this week, the Proving Strike entered the Nightfall playlist. And when the seasonal began, there was a revealed in the seasonal calendar that showed that the 3rd of March, Proving Ground Strike would enter the Vanguard Strike playlist, which confused a load of people because actually it's behind a paywall because it's part of the season. Yeah. So people had read it as if I'm going to get to play it for free on the 30th, but that wasn't the case because it's part of the obviously this season's strikes. So they did apologize. They've redone some of the artwork to suggest that's not the case. So the free to play for all players is Arms Dealer, Devil's Lair, Disgrace, Dexter's Crash, Fallen Saber, and Inverted Spire. Inside Terminus, Lake of Shadows. Required Forsaken, Broodhold, The Corrupted, Halaleia, Ward of Nothing. Requires Shadowkeep, Scarlet Keep. Requires Beyond Light, The Glassware, and Proving Grounds. So if you haven't got the DLC, then you can't have the access to that thing. So they've apologized, and the future calendar will reflect the changes.
That's pretty good. That sucks, man. That sucks for people that don't have all of those DLCs. They're actually missing out in a lot of content, a lot of good strikes to begin with.
Yeah.
But we already know what Ness feels like, right? Ness will be like, forget them. They don't have money.
Pay for it.
Pay for
it. They're not Destiny rich.
They're not Destiny rich. Get what's that Xbox Pass? Game Pass?
Game Pass.
It was free.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about some Guardian Game Ghost Shells news, I guess, after the patch. Yes.
Yeah. So it turns out that Titans have another complaint. They can't see their winning little ghost. So because of that, the new patch 3.1.1, they discovered that when someone would actually equip the ghost, it would just disappear and a different ghost would show up. So this time around, to address it, to give the Titans their shell back, everyone's going to get it in their postmaster. So make sure that you actually go to the postmaster, pick it up before you actually push it out of your inventory by making your postmaster full. So yeah, I think this only affected Titans because are you guys wearing your Guardian shell? I mean, I got mine, but I mean, after that whole debacle of the Titans cheating.
I got one in my postmaster though. I just saw that the other day. I went to my postmaster and there was the Eagle for the Warlock, but that one was fully masterworked. So I grabbed my other one and I deleted it and I just grabbed that one and put it in there because you never know. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's your gift. If you were one of those people where they were trying to put it on, which I doubt, is mostly the Titans probably.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pity those people have full postmasters.
Yeah. I know. I'm pretty sure mine is gone. I could have dismantled it. Oh God, those pores. So another thing that actually came up, and this was actually with the launch of Beyond Light. If you hadn't noticed, me and myself, Snail, and I believe Rob, we actually went into the pit actually, and we played it through. I think me and Snail didn't die. Rob died, and we didn't get the flawless triumph. So apparently with Beyond Light, there was a change where the flawless was not going to be given to you if you did it individually. So from here on out, it has to be a team, no wipe, no deaths before you can actually get that triumph. Yeah. So if you have somebody who finds holes, falls off the map, invite them anyway. Invite me.
I think that pretty much answers our question.
I don't mean to find the architect issues. They just happen.
Killed by the architects every time. No, I think that answers our questions. Now we're talking about if you go on a raid and you're the only person that doesn't die, do you get the flawless? But I guess they pretty much put a halt to that. If it's hard enough for 3 people to stay alive in a dungeon, can you imagine 6 people on a raid? That's tough. That is definitely tough.
Yeah.
Well, any questions about the dungeon or the ghost shows? If not, we'll move on to cross save news, which I don't know why this is even a thing. Apparently, more people are playing the game and more people are realizing that they want to cross save and jump from console to PC to console. But I'm just giving you a reminders. Prior to altering the cross save setups, players should keep in mind that cross save does not permanently transfer characters' account or data between platforms. In order to access your cross save character on a different platform that they originate, cross save must remain activated. So I haven't touched my cross save. I'm not going to. I have a cross save, so I can go from I believe I set it up from PlayStation to Xbox. So that's the only thing I've set up. If you do want to make any changes, at the TWAB, Bungie give a little link there where you can kind of click on it and you can make changes if you want to. But man, if it's not broken, shoot, don't fix it, honestly. And if you, I would like to still have the option to kind of cross save, but I think in the future we're going to be hitting that crossplay pretty hard. I think that's used to be a pipe dream, but I believe that's closer than we thought. Pretty soon we're going to be able to play some matches with our friends in PlayStation and also some people on PC. So that's going to be interesting to happen with that. But we get to the important part of the TWAB. No TWAB can be the TWAB without any known issues. And with that, we turn to our correspondent on the scene, and that is Ness. Ness, tell us about some known issues.
Okay, so well-known issues. So this is actually the latest issues. Last week's issues are still there. So for the colorblind community, Bungie is still listening. They wrote it again. It's down, it's listed. They're listening. They'll get to it. There are some gameplay issues that just came up. So as far as Presage that we love so much, respawning, if you end up respawning in the electric wall, a lot of players are becoming trapped. As far as the proving ground strikes, a lot of players have been reporting that they're getting stuck under the moving platforms. Let's see, the Wanted, the Arcadian Cord bounty is no longer going to be available for Spider. So if you were actually trying to complete all the world triumphs, this one's not going to complete the one for Nessus if you have not done this one yet. Zaras Greed Zivu Aras, right? I said it right? 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 So that one is actually mislabeled. It is mislabeled as Fallen Walker. So not sure why that's a thing, but it's still the dude. As far as Wishender, there is an issue where you cannot see through walls if you're actually in a Warlock Rift. So that is really about it. If you want more of the emergent issues, you can go onto Known Issues article on Bungie, and they actually break it down. They'll tell you the console issues, they'll tell you character issues, and then equipment issues, and etc. So that's all I've got.
I know that electric. Thank you so much. Thank you to our correspondent Ness.
Back in the studio.
Back to the studio. I know Snail encountered that thing when you were stuck on that electric wall in the Presage. We kept reviving you. You kept dying.
Yeah, it's great fun. That electric wall has actually saved my life as well. Ness was witness to one of my many feats of jumping genius, where I fell off the side of the map and used the electric wall to bounce myself back into safety. And she was like, "How did you do that?" Then I stepped back off the map and died. I can't walk in a straight line, but I can jump like a master.
Killed by the architects.
Yeah, I get that one all the time.
Well, that's pretty much the TWAB in a nutshell. A lot of stuff that we look forward to in season 14. If you keep reading the TWAB, once again, has movies of the week, has the artists of the week. There's a pretty cool little movie of the week. It's called The Deep Stone Lullaby in an 8-bit form. So if you listen to it, it's the Deep Stone Lullaby, which is famously called that because it is the music you hear in the jumping puzzle, going from the, I believe, second encounter to the third encounter of the raid. And they do that intro, that music in Nintendo music, I guess. It's like very 8-bitty, kind of cute. If you want to watch that, want to listen to it. Two artists are being featured this week, Umbra and Meaty. Now, Umbra has a nice picture, freehand picture of Eris Morn. You guys should check it out. And Meaty has a cool little picture. It's almost like a comic book strip fight. It looks like a Bato. You may have to give me some information on him, Snail, after I finish this.
Yeah, he's yeah, go on.
Okay, so Bato and Katabayasis are kind of fighting alongside shooting monsters in the Glycon. So Bato, that's the first time, or I think the first time I've seen that name there. Who is Bato? Sounds like a Mexican dude. What's up, Vato?
He's part of the crew of the Glycon that was with Katabayas. Okay. So there's a Scion, which we've mentioned quite a bit, and Bato is their general sort of bodyguard that comes along with them. Quite an old school Cabal guy with a heavy machine gun, who's pretty cool. I've got to say, the little stories about him are quite cool. But yeah, he was just looking after Katabayas. He was his bodyguard.
Yeah, that was a cool little drawing. That was a cool little drawing the guy did. It looked really interesting. You guys should definitely check it out. Bato and Katabayasis.
Yeah.
There's actually the story ended. Snail, what are we going to talk about, man? We were just talking about this. The story you were bringing us each and every week, it just stopped happening, and it was sad, but at the same time, we know something else is going to be brewing in the future. But
yeah, I did say last week I thought this was the end of the story now till that sort of final couple of weeks of the season, where I think we get a bit of a pickup to go into the following season, which then brings me to a question. Is there any bits of lore people want me to cover in the corner until we get there? So off the back of that, Jess did email me and say, can you tell me more about Mara Sov and what's happening to her? To which I did a little bit of digging. You
want me to tell my question that I had?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, because I emailed Snail and I told him, you know what, who I haven't heard in a while from, and that's Mara Sov. And I told Snail, from the rich story that we've been getting from the Crow, like, man, she has to know that he's alive, or does she know that he's alive, or does she know that he's no longer, Aldrin? He's the Crow. What is her moves? What's going on? Does she know that we're wielding darkness? Because she's been out for a while. I believe the last time we talked to her was when we used to go visit the Queen, like once every week during I believe it was Curse Week, right?
Yeah. And
that must have been almost about a year. I want to say, I'm gonna take a stab, maybe say about a year we haven't had contact with her, a little bit less. So it got me thinking, like, what is she up to? What's going on? And is she going to play an important role in the future? And I have a feeling she might. So that's why I contacted Snail and said, hey, man, give us some news. Anything you find out, it'd be kind of cool. I mean, let me know.
The correspondence in the field of the Dreaming City.
Yeah.
So I had my little hat and coat, trench coat, microphone, went around interviewing some Awoken, asking what was going on. But the last time we saw her, she disappeared from the throne room. And left in the throne room was on her table was a hologram of one of the pyramid ships.
Yeah.
So she's gone off to confront the darkness, as far as we know. In fact, I think she's trapped between the light and the dark at the moment. Anyway, but I think what we'll find is she'll be part of this piece with the Vault of Glass returning. Yeah. Because last time we had the Vault of Glass as part of Destiny, she was instrumental in what was going on, or she was really intrigued in what was going on. So she's a real part of the story. She sent Cade on many missions, trying to find Vex that could get her into the Vault of Glass. So there must be something she knows about the Vault of Glass that we need for the future. So I think we might see her come back in that sort of format. And it might tie up what's happened in the Dreaming City. And if we're going to lose Forsaken just after that, it all kind of ties up loose ends, because I think we'll save the Dream City from its curse. The Vault of Glass will give us the answer to something. We might get the 15th wish at some point. The curse will be lifted. No point going back to Dreaming City because it's now safe and there's lots of happy awoken having barbecues and chilling as you do. Darkness in the background. Who cares about them?
Chilling, he says. Chilling.
As you do.
But I think that's what we'll probably see happen. It's the only way I can see it coming back quickly. If we're going to leave it till Witch Queen, then Mara is the mirror of Oryx, so we could get her at that point. But then technically, Aldrin is also a mirror, because the Sov family is all mirrors of.
He's royalty still, right? Is he considered royalty?
Well, he's not alive. So we keep referring back to Aldrin, but Aldrin's dead.
Yeah.
What we've got in Crow is a different person. It's just Aldrin's body, which must smell by now because it should have decayed, surely.
He's a zombie. That's what I'm saying.
That's
what makes me go back.
We're zombies.
Are we? So are we, though, right?
No, but it makes me go back to the point that why Team Monster is way better than Team Dino.
Team Dino, homie. Let it go.
Hey, look, not according to Green Titan.
Yes.
Chaperone users have to
Shout
be
out to Green
Team
Titan.
Dino.
He's Team Dino guy. And he will teach you how to use a chaperone. That's straight from him. I'm just kidding. That's pretty much the show, guys. And yes, Snail has that question for you guys. If you guys have any specific lore story that you want him to discuss, once we get to the very end of our introductions, he'll give out the information where you can send messages, ask him, Discord, Twitter, Facebook. You can ask him, you can tell him what you want to talk about, and he'll give you his honest opinion, and we will send him on the spot. If you want to talk about Mars, we will send him to Mars. If you want to talk about what's going on in the who knows, the Leviathan, even though the Leviathan's gone, we will send him there, because this is our hardcore, our correspondents are our correspondent Snail and our correspondent Ness.
In the field,
taking notes, taking names. Thank you guys for joining us. This was episode 24, ever so close to our silver anniversary, episode 25th, which we're going to be discussing fun things we can do on that episode. On possibly the next episode, we got to check in with some friends of ours. We have some ideas, but we will let you guys know what's going to happen for the next episode. But with that, my name is Vega 6417. You can find me online, Xbox Live. That's my gamer tag. You can find me on, I believe, the Twitter, and my handle is Jasubius. You can also find me on Twitch TV /Triple Vega, where I stream each and every Thursday. And thank you all for those who come by and visit me and say hello. That makes my day. Thank you guys for watching me. With that, Ness.
All right, my name is Liness1 on Twitch and Xbox, and thank you, Sarah Bear, for friending me. Let's see, for Instagram, personal Instagram is AlexisB1, and also run the Instagram for Genuine Apathy, so it's genuine_apathy. We want to shout out to all our friends at TLC, especially Darth Jig, the Green Titan, and I think a Ruthless Raider, all of you who have actually been sending out all of our information and helping us actually get our podcast out there. So we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Subscribe and save. Right? Save, right?
Yeah.
Like coupons. My bad.
Yeah.
Subscribe and like. That's the one.
So I'm Winsnail 2268. I had a brilliant birthday card that suggested my name is Winsnail 224826 something or other, which is quite entertaining. But they said there's only one Ross, which is true. So there is only one Ross. But yeah, I'm Winsnail 2268. And actually, I thought my invite to be friends with Sarah Bear was lost because she sent it to 2267, but I had an invite too, so well, you're not on your own. Sorry, Ness.
Yeah. Now you ruined it. Thanks.
So you can find me on Instagram and Snail1, because apparently there's another one there as well. The rest of the stuff is all Snail, apart from Twitter, which is my real name, Ross Heath, although it does say Snail as part of that as well. So if you're going to message me about law stuff, send it on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, or Discord. That'd be cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Ness. Thank you, Snail, for joining me for another episode. We're back to recording on Fridays, so this episode's going to be fresh and out Saturday morning for everybody. And yes, guys, we have a YouTube channel now. We haven't really announced it because we're still kind of working out the kinks, but we have some fresh new backgrounds produced by Ness. You can see them right there. Boom. I believe this is me right here.
Yeah, this is me right there. I love that one.
And Snail is right above him. There it is. See? So that's the Three Warlocks. So yeah, check it out.
Snail's above us judging us.
Three Warlocks Podcast. Search that on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Each episode we go in there, I'll launch it, put it out there so you guys can see it raw and uncut, because the edited version will be on podcast form. We also have, I'm gonna have to go back in my archives. I have some videos or interviews that we've had with some of our friends. Peak, we've had Darth Jig, we've had Duke is Cool, we had Cerber. I'm going to contact them individually and see if I can give me permission if I can post this on YouTube. So those will be kind of fun. So
dude, I was wearing my pajamas most of the time.
And that's why I have to ask for
why aren't you shouldn't be asking us?
We didn't have fancy backgrounds. You know what I can do is I can blur out your face. like one of those like one of those police like,
we'll have you know like you're
alter your voice. Yeah,
Ness with a blurred out face. What is going on?
What was your question? But no, I mean, I'll check with everybody, and if it's some of those cool things we have, if we can actually get those videos out there, we'll put them out there. If they're lost, because I don't know if I still have them in my computer. I had to do some deep cleaning. But check out the videos, guys. We'll work on some maybe some montages here in the near future. Some videos of us going into dungeons. The Three Warlocks tend to do a couple little things here and there together, and we usually tend to record it, and then we'll share it with you guys. It's kind of cool. Anything Destiny related, anything Destiny news, we'll bring it to you guys there. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was episode 24. We will see you guys next week, and always remember, when in Rome, baby.
When in Rome.
When in Rome. Bye.
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 Awesome.